I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. This is the Billionaire Brown experience. Let's go.
There are currencies like Bitcoin, which I would describe as like a blue chip stock. All right, it's already grown, somewhere up around, I don't know what it is, 13,000, 15,000, it's been up to almost 20,000 per coin when it used to be less than a penny. So most of its growth, I think, has already happened. And if you buy Bitcoin, will it double again next year? Yeah, maybe. Will it go up by a factor of 1,000 next year? No, it's pretty good already and pretty old-fashioned and obsolete and clogged. And I could give you a lot of reasons why Bitcoin won't be around in 5 years. But it's still not a bad investment in terms of you probably, if you buy it today, you can get some of your money back tomorrow, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Okay. And there are other coins that come and go, sort of like comets coming in out of deep space. Suddenly they show up. They're a big flash. They go way up into the top 10 as they come around the sun, and then they start to fade and disappear off into space, and you never see them again. And at any given time, looking in the top 10 or 20, you'll find a couple comets that are just, people are excited about them now, and then they lose their luster and go away. And if you're a day trader, you say, here comes a comet, great, buy it. Wait till it gets close to the sun, sell it. You don't hang on to it until it falls away again. But, you can make money that way, but it's, it depends on you paying attention and timing. And usually when it's doing that, it's because somebody's out there pumping and dumping. It's called a pump and dump. And so people start buying a bunch of it, get everybody excited, get other people buying it, and they watch it climb up, and then they sell everything they bought early on real quick and dump it, making their money, leaving everybody else who got sucked into it stuck holding the bag as the price falls back down. So I avoid comets, pump and dumps for that reason. And then there are good, solid projects, and that would be where I would put Bitshares. I think Bitshares grew by a factor of 200 last year. It's been around for, like I said, 3.5 years. It's got the best technology. It processes more transactions than the rest of the industry. Its technology beats the rest of the industry in terms of speed and performance. And it's got tons of new companies coming into the industry, building on top of it. And what that means.
I don't want to lose this. This is getting interesting. So you said you could probably list 5 reasons to why Bitcoin won't be here 5 years from now. Do you really have 5 reasons why you don't believe that, in your opinion?
Well, yeah.
If so, what are those 5 things?
All right, we'll see if we can get to 5. I haven't counted them, but
okay.
Bitcoin itself is, it's completely clogged. Okay, it's already processing all the transactions it can, and that means if you want to use the network, the only way that you're going to get your transaction through the system is to pay extra. And so, on a typical day, instead of it being 3 cents, it's sometimes $30 to get ranked high enough to get your transaction through the system. And if you don't pay at least that amount, then it'll be maybe 3 days before it gets through the system if you don't pay a big enough fee. That means Bitcoin has already fallen back from its huge leap forward over wiring money with a bank back to, it's not much better than a bank. It costs as much and it takes as long, on the average. And so it's a system that simply cannot scale to handle the world's transactions. Now, will it have a place 5 years from now? Yeah, it's the incumbent. It's what everything's priced in. And so it'll have this little cameo role, kind of like gold does right now. People, they store gold in a vault, but they don't move it very much because it's expensive to move. And that's the way Bitcoin will be. You'll store your Bitcoin somewhere. It's expensive to move, so you don't use it. And, if it's going to cost $30 to send a Bitcoin to somebody, you're not going to use it to buy a Coke. Okay, so those are some.
So it's completely clogged. That's one. What's number 2?
there are, a lot of other systems out there that are more appealing to the average person because they work better. Bitcoin has a long, complicated address, maybe 40 characters of letters and numbers and everything. And so that's kind of awkward for people to pass around. Bitshares, I have an account name. My account name is Stan. If you want to send something to me, you type Stan. You type in 5 Bitshares and you press send, and 3 seconds later, I've got it. So Bitcoin is more expensive. It's slower. It can't handle all the traffic. It's got awkward naming conventions, and I only owe you one more. And, I would say the Model T was a really great improvement over the horse and buggy, but we don't drive Model Ts anymore. And so Bitcoin is simply going to fall into the, it's an antique system that people use for parades and stuff, but it's not going to be something that has the same growth potential as systems that are fast, efficient, and deliver consumers a better experience.
Right, but don't you need Bitcoin to buy Bitshares?
You do, but keep in mind why that is. The companies that have the licenses to convert dollars into Bitcoins don't just pick Bitcoin, they're picking Litecoin, they're picking Ethereum, but you've got to get big enough to where it's worth their time, all right? So Bitcoin has been the most used, and so people, list it there. But as soon as something else like Bitshares grows like it did this year, if it grows that much next year, then it'll be in the category where it'll get listed as
Wait a minute. Are you saying, wait, I don't want to take what you just said literal, but maybe that'll help me understand a lot better. Are you saying that there's, out of these thousands of cryptocurrencies, you said there's only 4 major players, the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, the Lite, right? And there's another one.
Maybe Ripple, yeah.
Okay, Ripple. Are you saying any one of these thousands of cryptocurrency have the ability to becoming one of those top 4 that you're talking about?
Oh yeah, I've seen it already. That's how those 4 got there. Bitcoin first.
So how is it only 4 big ones? Why is it only 4 big ones if you're saying there were, how many were there before? Is it always 4?
No, in early on, the only thing you could trade on, say, Bitstamp was Bitcoin. And then over the 4 years or so that I've used it, they have reluctantly or slowly, or who knows why it takes them so long, but they've added one maybe every year, but they're very reluctant for some reason. There are other exchanges out there that want to list everything, right? And they do the extra effort and they want to be famous for covering a lot of stuff. But some of the ones just say, no, I'll be content to trade just these few pairs. And they'll add another one when it becomes popular enough to be worth their time, because you want to have lots of traffic and lots of churn. It is, to me, beyond ridiculous if you've already done the work to make Bitcoin trade on your exchange. And there's 100 other coins out there that use the exact same code as Bitcoin. So you've already got the work done to list them. I never have figured out why they would not want to list them other than, I don't know, it seems to me like laziness, or maybe they just want to keep the user interface very simple. I don't think there's any regulatory reason why if you've listed 4, you couldn't list 40.
Let's, do you have, what advice would you give someone in regards to investing in cryptocurrency?
There's no substitute for doing your own homework, because if you're just going to jump in and watch the charts and say, ooh, that's going up, I'll buy some of that. What you're buying is probably a comet or a pump and dump. It's going up today because someone's trying to make it go up today. If you don't know the difference between that phenomenon and something that's a really cool technology that's got promise because it's got a strong development team and it's got good marketing and a good use case out there and lots of potential. If you don't know that kind of stuff about it, you're just gambling and probably going to lose your shirt. So no substitute for doing your homework if you want to be successful. And even then, there's a lot of factors beyond your control that could make it go the other way with market crashes and sudden disasters and government regulations. But I repeat myself.
Very nice. What red flags would you give to our listeners when it comes to cryptocurrency?
There's a lot of scams out there. Okay, one of the things that's going to bring the government in, and rightfully so, in that role is a lot of people are offering new coins with no intention of doing anything. They'll say, "Look, this is my anti-gravity coin. You buy some of my anti-gravity coin, and I'm going to go off in my garage and invent anti-gravity." But when they get the money, then they go and buy a yacht, and that's the last you ever hear of them. Okay, so there's a lot of scams out there of people who are offering things that have no capability of doing it. And it turns out when you look at it, it's just two kids in their parents' basement making promises. And that's happened. People have bought coins that have nothing behind it but a couple teenagers. So you need to get involved. If it's a good, legitimate coin, you'll see a community develop that has a forum that you can go to, and a place where you can talk, Twitter or Facebook or whatever, social media interactions where you can meet the guys doing the development, where they tell you about their successes, what's coming out next week. And a lot of other people are looking at the code and saying, hey, this is really cool. And there's a real thing going on. If you don't find a community like that with lots of activity and a chance to meet the guys behind the scenes, then I would stay away from it.
Okay, and I guess my personal last question would be, when it comes to cryptocurrency,
Mm-hmm.
is it, I don't understand when people say that, I guess maybe I do. I don't understand that when people say that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency has more, it's worth more than the American dollar. To that, you say what?
Well, I wouldn't have phrased it quite that way, but let me restate your question. It has more backing it than the American dollar. Okay. Now, what's the American dollar backed by? It's just the promise to tax the American people. And it doesn't have anything other than, well, okay, maybe the American military insists that everybody in the world has to listen to American rules, and American rules say you have to use the dollar to buy oil. And so there is some superpower behind it, but in general, it's backed by debt. They just print more of them whenever they want to. And in Bitcoin and Bitshares, you can't print more of them. There's a fixed value, and the value is driven by demand. Okay, so the more people that want them, either because they think they're going to go up in value or because they can do something useful with them, the more the value goes up. So let me give you a real simple example. If I told you I had a coin that was backed by Microsoft stock, okay, it represented one share in Microsoft. Well, you wouldn't say the coin was backed by nothing. It's backed by shares in a profitable company, right? In the case of Bitcoin, if I were to say Bitcoin is a company that does one little function, it keeps track of who owns Bitcoin and lets you shift who owns it. Okay, well, that's a useful little service. People can pay with that. So there's a demand for Bitcoin because of the simple money transmission function that it performs. And with Bitshares, it's an entire smart coin factory and exchange all on a blockchain. And so there's a lot more reasons why you'd want to own Bitshares than Bitcoin. And so you would expect that as more and more people want to use the services of Bitshares, it should appreciate just like Microsoft should appreciate if more and more people buy Windows.
What's the worst thing about cryptocurrency?
Right now, it's a little bit complicated, but that'll get fixed over time. I'd say people have to take personal responsibility for managing their own money. All right. So when I don't want a bank to have control where they can freeze my accounts, which they can freeze my normal account, but they can't freeze my Bitcoin account or my Bitshares account. when I take that power away from them, I also give up the power for them to fix my stupid mistakes. So if I forget my password or I send it to the wrong person, there's nobody to help me. So cryptocurrencies aren't good for the person that wants to be taken care of by daddy. Okay. But if you're a grown up and willing to take responsibility for your own money and remembering your password and to back things up, then you can graduate to the realm of freedom where you're not at the mercy of the big system and its ability to force you to do things you don't want to do in order to comply with their rules.
In the fact of buying, selling, or trading cryptocurrency, where's the safest place your money can be? Let's just say that we have Coinbase.com, we have blocktrade.us, and we have Bitshares and Bittrex.com. Where's the safest place? Like if a company goes, a Bitcoin cryptocurrency company goes out of business, but my money is here, where is my money most safe?
Most safe is in your own wallet where you control your own keys. And any coin, whether it's Bitcoin or Bitshares or any of those, if I've got the wallet located and I've properly backed it up and I've written down my password in 3 different places and I've used multi-signatures so my brother and my aunt can also unlock my account. If I do all the right things, I am so super, super secure for the money I had that way. As soon as I put it on one of those other exchanges you're talking about, they have my money. They have the keys to my money. All they have is an IOU. If they get hacked, and you know, because they're a big honeypot, right? Everybody's put their money in there, and it's all in one place, and you know, it looks safe, but they actually hired this guy who's an ex-con to run their IT department. They didn't know that, and he's waiting for the right time to hack in and run off with that money. And we just saw another exchange lose $400 million worth of one particular coin because they got hacked. You don't want to put your money on one of those exchanges for very long. It's okay to put it there, make a trade, and get the heck out of there. But if you're going to let it sit there day in and day out, like a lot of people do, you're just asking for that hacker to eventually figure out how to get to that honeypot and run off with it. You keep it on your own system, on your own laptop, and you back it up well, then you're going to be as secure as possible.
And where do I get the wallet from? Just
yeah, each coin type has its own wallet in general, and so you would go to bitshares.org to download a Bitshares wallet. There's other places that you could do that too, but also Bitcoin has, I don't know, by now maybe they have a dozen different types of wallets and lots of places to go, but you have to be careful. The fancier wallets are also, you know, less established, less checked, and could contain bad software that might suddenly one day wake up and say, oh, it's time to steal from everybody.
But my money can't move in a wallet, right? I can't buy, sell, and trade it. I can?
Yeah, that's the
So my money can be accumulating. I get all the benefits if it's in a wallet?
Yeah. You know, is it true? Well, if I want to give my Bitcoins to somebody who's willing to pay me, say, 5% interest while they use my Bitcoins, then I can make more than if I had it staying in my wallet. But in general, just the general fluctuation of the price, it doesn't matter whether it's in my wallet or on some exchange. If I own 5 Bitcoins and the price changes, doesn't matter where I'm holding them. It's just the risk that I will either forget my password or somebody will hack into the exchange. Which is the bigger risk? Well, am I a careful person? If I'm a careful person, I can trust myself to hold it. If I'm not a careful person, maybe I want to risk it at an exchange where they have to promise to give it to me, and maybe they've got a way to recover my password or something. And so I trust them for that, but then they could get hacked. So you got 2 kinds of risks. And if you don't trust yourself to manage your own password, then you have to take the risk of letting someone else do it.
I love this conversation. This has been very enlightening, very educational. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stan Larimer. That's it.
Got that right, bro?
I'm getting better, Stan. This has been another Billionaire Brown experience. Until next time, continue to be.
motivating you to firm, fit, and fabulous. Here is our company website, www.femmefatalefitclub.bigcartel.com. We are a no-judgment zone, here to help any woman ready to take control of her health and well-being. Here's our blog, www.femmefatalefitclub.com. We offer not only personal training services and virtual fitness programs, we also offer products such as water bottles, a cute inspirational tank top for women that says #NoExcuses, and support across our social media channels. Come join the club. Follow us on Instagram at Femme Fatale Fit Club, or join our group on Facebook at Femme Fatale Fit Club. Now back to your favorite podcast.